I only stuck my thumb to it once. Hey, welcome back to Frank's Model Works. I'm Frank. There it is. The finished dartboard. I don't know what the odds were, what odds they were given in Vegas on whether or not I would drop kick this into the neighbor's backyard. It didn't really come close. There was just that one little thing where it didn't even really leave a mark, but I had like a little bit of CA because I wasn't wearing gloves because I'm stupid. Other than that, I had a fairly enjoyable time finishing this model. For the first time, you're going to notice the glamour shots were taken in my backyard because there's no better lighting than natural lighting. The only problem is it didn't pick up the interference green mid coat that's in there. Hopefully it shows up on this camera because I'm going to do the whole show you how I did it and then do the glamour shots and then we'll sum everything up and the spiel, the regular thing. All right, get up there. So now we'll have a weekly or monthly or whatever frequency with which I finish models. Game of is this in focus? I don't know. But this is the Revell 1/25th scale 1968 Dodge Dart for my USACC 2025 group build. That ended in March, and I'm finishing it up now. Better late than never, to be honest with you. You know, if I could have probably crunched it and gotten it done, but then that's when I make my unforced errors. But enough about that. Let's go through and I'll show you what I did. So I started with the regular kit. Nothing extravagant was done in terms of structure, other than removing any hint where the stock mufflers were going to be placed, because I added 3 30-second inch rosin core solder wire and these 3D printed glass pack cherry bomb mufflers, which were printed by a file written by Scale Auto Model Works. The tips are also 3D printed from Scale Auto Model Works, and those were painted with Stuart Semple Mirror Chrome, which we all know I like to use. As always, there'll be links in the description. So other than that, pretty much everything else under here was from the kit, with the exception of the wheels and the tires. Those are 3D printed items that were sourced from the Coats 3D page of Z-Force Model Works. They, you know, like the typical slotted mags, painted magnesium. The paint that I used for the magnesium is Splash Paint's Metalizer Magnesium. Wonderful stuff. The lug nuts were picked out with Mirror Chrome, and they were the wheels that the tires themselves were actually painted with NATO black, Tamiya XF69. That's not it. I believe it's Tamiya XF69 NATO black. If you're gonna say something like this, Frank, you should probably have it. It'll be in the description, or I'll put it on the screen. And then the treads were highlighted with just a lighter shade of gray, to make so that there would be some differentiation between the sidewall and the tread. Moving on, I removed the chrome from the kit using Purple Power, and all of that stuff was treated to my Revell chrome treatment that I went over previously in my series on the subject, including these photo etch side marker lights, which are from a Model Car Garage photo etch sheet. So that's where those came from. In addition, so did the door locks. I didn't put any scripts other than the Pentastar, which is right there. And the Pentastar is only on the passenger side of Mopars from this period. As far as the engine compartment goes, this color is GaiaNotes Metallic Yellow. I will have a link in the description. It is rarely in stock at the place where I usually buy it. Hopefully it is now, but either way there'll be a link. The engine is from a file by Scale Auto Model Works, downloaded off of Cults 3D and printed on my 3D printer. It's painted with splash paints, early blue, which is their facsimile for Chrysler turquoise, and it's a really excellent match. The gold on the air cleaner and valve covers, I had thought was GaiaNotes, but it's actually splash paints. They're metalizer gold. Other parts inside the engine compartment were picked out with various metalizers by splash paints. The Optima battery is a file from Scale Auto Model Works as well. And then in the interior, what you could see of it, I used MCW Automotive Finishes F8 for 1969, so that's frost green for the seats. So that would have been a stock color. And just 2mm wide red ribbon for the seat belts, and then Model Car Garage hardware for the seat belts. The green on the dashboard is Scale Finishes Lime Time. It's a candy. The overall paint of the model is Scale Finishes white with a green midcoat, interference green midcoat. You can see it as I move it through the light. And then on top of that, I put splash paints 2K clear. Detail painting was picked out with whatever I had handy. I have several lines of paint, and I don't always pay attention to which one I'm using. The decals, I made them. They were custom made by me, drawn up, and I printed them out using the method described in the first part of this series. There will be links in the description and in my mod top tutorial. I'll also have a link to that in the description on how I made these decals. These decals are not commercially available, and unfortunately I won't be able to accommodate requests to make these available. However, if a decal manufacturer wants them, I'll make them available. They can have them as long as they credit me for the, for the authorship of drawing it up. They can have it for free. And that goes for the mod top and the floral top decals as well. I just, honestly, it's expensive to print that stuff using an inkjet printer. And I reserve that, frankly, for people that I know, people that are my friends. And I'm sorry, but that's the way it's going to have to be. And I don't want to sound like a jerk, but it's, the color printer cartridges for my printer are $90. And a run of, say, 15 sets of these decals, there's $90 right there. So I'm a good sport, but I'm not that good of a sport. Moving on. Final assembly just included basic putting things together. The only part where I had a problem was getting the lower radiator hose hooked up to the bottom. And I actually, if you can see down there, there's actually a lower radiator hose. Let's see if you can see it from the bottom. And you can't really see it. But there is a lower radiator hose. I assure you. And then the upper radiator hose was not much easier. The spark plug wires are actually in the correct firing order for a big block Mopar. It's just one of the things that I like to do. I did add some notional brake lines, although they like I said in the last episode, They basically end right there where the fender wall ends. I tend not to wire my plumb my brakes because I'm not really good at it. I will one day try to do it. If you cajole me enough, you could probably get me to do it. Other than that, it went together well. I was going back and forth on whether or not I was going to add windshield wipers, and in the end, I decided I was going to, because the theory behind this entire build was that it was going to be among the higher end of like the power tour kind of things, where you drive across several sites and then drag race, and like you see the full scale YouTubers do it. And I wanted to imagine a car that, like where they went a little bit overboard on the paint and the graphics while being practical with the engine, something that's going to make it, at least for the power tour, but not necessarily be a really dependable daily driver, but something that would make it through the power tour and maybe do pretty well on the track. So that was my inspiration behind the whole thing. As I've said across the episodes related to this model, this was an exercise in throwing colors off of each other to see how it would work. So the oranges and the red tones and the warm tones that are in the Dart board were picked up by the red of the fire extinguisher, the safety belts, the spark plug wires, the top of the Optima battery, and the cherry bombs on the bottom. The greens throughout were playing off of the floral, the greens that are in the floral top in this stripe. The turquoise in the floral top stripe is indicative of the Chrysler engine color and that ended in 1968, this color. Big blocks were red and like a reddish orange after 1968. So it was kind of like the last hurrah for that engine color. And I just wanted to play with these colors throughout and provide like a theme, a colorful theme throughout the build. The golds are in the stripes along the side, and they're also in the valve covers and the inner fender wells and the radiator shroud. And finally, I wanted to recognize my friends on here. My friend Mike McElduff, who I haven't seen in a long time. It's got to be 29 years since I seen Mike, but we were pretty close friends in high school. Same with Frank, my friend Frank. Haven't seen him in a while either. And we're getting towards that age where we need to start seeing each other. So hopefully that would provide an impetus for us to see each other again. All right, now I'm going to do my little glamour shots with a little bit of music underneath, and then we'll be back on the tripod to sum up. This build was a lot of fun because I made a conscious effort to not feel the pressure of a deadline. I had just finished the 1972 Dart Swinger for Dylan McCool, and that was a kind of a stressful build for me because, number one, I wanted to impress Dylan. I wanted to make sure that he was going to like it. Number two, I wanted to get the car to Briar in a reasonable amount of time so that he would be able to give it to Dylan. So I felt like I was under the gun. With this car, once I missed the deadline, I was like, nobody came to the house to smack me around. So I get it done. I get it done the way I wanted to, and this way I don't feel bad that I messed it up trying to get it done quicker. Group builds are fun because you're either building around a kit or you're building around a theme. But I'm not gonna hold myself to and it's not like anybody's making me. Nobody, like I said, nobody thinks less of people for not completing the group build, and if you do, that's your problem. So where do we go now? Well, I still have these two goofballs to finish. The parts are painted. It's just detail painting, assembly. Not much really left to do, so you'll probably see these across the finish line sometime in June. Then after that, I'm going to start on my first lowrider for Leon, Model Car 1589's lowrider group build. I never built a lowrider before. The group build's over. I missed that too. But it's something that's important to me because I want to build it for Leon's group build. And I want to build a lowrider. I'm interested, I'm intrigued by the styles involved, and I think they're really cool cars. They're not really necessarily my personal taste, but broaden your horizons. You never know, you might like things. After that, I got to get started on, I need my Garage Time JT's group build, which is also over. His 50s and 60s on Steely's group build. I'm going to be working on the 65 Coronet by Mobius. That's going to be a plain Jane 1965 Coronet, white paint with a burgundy interior with the Steelys on it. And I got a nice 3D printed grill for it that I'm going to be using. I'll be subjecting it to the Revell chrome spray treatment. Big things to look forward to. And I'm also going to be building that model plane, the FM1 Wildcat from Edward in 1/48 scale. So keep in touch. Stay tuned. Like, subscribe, tell your family. Like if you go to a birthday party or a graduation party, especially this time of year, talk about me to people. You'd be surprised. They'd be like, really, I'm intrigued. Let me see this fella. No, they won't. They'll think you're weird. That's fine. I think you're wonderful. Anyway, so as always, I got Frizzo's back and I got Nick's back. I appreciate your support. And until we speak again, my friends, take care of yourselves and be well.